We're live.
Well, lion voice, tell them that's the people first choice. Lion voice, make the lioness them feel nice. Lion voice, with the lion cubs we sacrifice. Lion voice, got to show the people them the lion. Lion voice. Yeah. Well, don't be afraid, for I am with the eye. I will bring thy children from the east and gather thee from the west. I shall say to the north, give up, and to the south, keep not back. Bring my sons from afar, my daughters from the end of the earth. While you waiting, down in the west it seems your life frustrating. Down in the west it seems the haters keep hating. Africa awake, creators start creating. Then will be party waiting. Me and me woman love making. Leave Babylon and them hating. One love Africa and Jamaican. Then will be party waiting. Whole family them celebrating. Leave Babylon and them hating. One love Africa and the Haitian. The story written in my DNA. Them up my four parents never get no pay. But down in a them system.
Greetings in that divine name of His Imperial Majesty, Emperor Haile Selassie I. Glory and honor in the name of His chosen Queen, Empress Waziri Menen. My name is Kwasi Bansu, aka the Chazmach Kwasi, aka Ras Kwasi, aka the Reading Ras, aka the Pan-African Happy Man. I'm an entertainment attorney, I'm an author, I'm an artist, I'm an actionist, and right now I'm the host of the Lion's Voice. Welcome to the Lion Voice Network, and welcome to our only live show, live series, Lion Talk. You've seen the Lion Talk where we sit down with fascinating people and we get their story and how they motivate and how they make the world a better place. Well, we said now we have to take it live. So I could do nothing more than to open the platform and start to bring some of I&I Network to share with the Lion Pride and with those who just want to hear high-level conversations, on a Rastafari network. Now, before we get into today's topic, which is going to be a fascinating topic, we're going to go in-depth on the topic. I want to just send some apologies. We had booked the artist Duane Stephenson to come on this evening. I spoke to the brethren. I have not been able to get in touch with him. And so tonight, I didn't want to come here and talk by myself. So I did something that the Almighty had blessed I to do, which was to go into the network and reach out. I reached out to I bona fide brethren Ras Lidge, who you saw on Lion Talk and We Reason, and he opened the door. So I'm so happy to say that we have a legend here tonight with us. And we're going to open the discussion from a discussion with just one artist to a panel discussion on the same topic, Rastafari, reggae, and the way forward. So I'm very excited to introduce the panel. Stay tuned. Make sure you keep it locked here. We are going to go in depth. Before we go into the program, I want to just big up Ramia King Designs. You see these nice tumbler, you open it up, you put in your hot, your cold liquid, you drink it up. They have all different designs. I had to get Kadamawi Haile Selassie the first. They also have every Caribbean flag, African flags, link them up. We're going to put the link down in the description, but you can also connect with them at ramiaroots@gmail.com. So big up Ramia King Design, one of our sponsors here on the Lion Voice Network. Big up Ras Lidge and the Rego family, also CMAS, and of course the Reading Ras merchandise. So, people, ladies and gentlemen, I have the distinct honor to introduce our esteemed panel. Give me the Trinity viewing now. All right, we have Trinity viewing, technical team around the thing. All right. So I want to first introduce my brethren. You've seen him on the platform. He's the founder of Reggae Music. This is an original, unique style coming straight from Southeast Washington, D.C., embracing Jamaica's reggae music and creating a brand new genre or subgenre. Please welcome Ras Lidge. And right beside, yes, blessing to the heights. And right beside him, we have here a living legend here in our DMV community, award-winning singer, songwriter, and producer. They have a big song. We're going to talk about the big song a little bit later. We'll get into it. But please help me to welcome Lion Pride warmly. Great Carl Malcolm. Blessing.
Blessing to the world.
Carl. Mighty, mighty, mighty panel. So for those who are not aware, please just give a little bit of background, Carl, about some of your achievements, starting in Jamaica, coming, the journey to the DMV. For the younger generation, we have some younger viewers that may not know the name and the legend that is in front of us today.
Well, I can just say that I'm Carl Malcolm. They call me legend because I started from the early 50s in Jamaica, recording, hanging around music, bands and whatever. Wherever music was, I was there. So I've lived through music about three different generations. So it's hard for me to say everything. It would take a whole night. But through music, I was inspired as a child to write poetry. And I started doing that for about 5, 6, between 5 and 6, as soon as I could put words together. And then that developed into a habit of writing poetry. Then later on in life, I realized that I was really writing songs. Because I started listening to people like Brooke Benton, Ray Charles, Nat King Cole, a lot of the older guys who people don't really even hear about these days. But those were my inspiration at the time. Because that was long before even reggae came to Jamaica. It was like from the mentor days.
Okay.
So my first exposure to it was my people had a little shop. They call it a store, but we had like a corner shop. And every Friday night, the people from the area would come around, musicians who build their own guitars from bamboo and board guitars and stuff like that. And they didn't have like bass guitar. They had a thing called a rumba box, which is this thing that man would sit on the box and it carries the bass, little strips of metal, and that would have 3 different sounds of tung 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 tung, something like that. So from those days, I was interested, and I said, I like what's happening. So every Friday night or Saturday night, the people would come out in my little neighborhood, my little store, my little shop, and they would have little things like that. All night they would be playing, who's not playing domino is drinking white rum and playing, and so it was like a stage show. From that time, I didn't realize it. So that grew with me through the years. Until it came to 1968, I did the first recording with Cox, a song called Rios. And from that on, there again, Peru Raiders, I did one called Make It When You Try. These records were not as popular. It wasn't popular, but at least it brought me to recording world.
Stick a pin there, because you call a big name. You drop a big bump on them when you see a name like Coxon. What was it like to meet? This is an iconic name in the reggae music that we're going to talk about, the direction and how it connects with Rastafari. We're going to get into all of that. But talk about, how did you meet Sir Coxon, and what was that experience like working with a legendary producer like that?
Well, to me, it was just an opportunity, because I didn't realize how great the man was until, later on in life. We at that time, we wanted to get involved with any producer, but those were the main producers were like Coxon. Anybody who passed through Coxon or Dynamics or Federal, those were the 3 main produce people going around. So Cox was more like a grassroots man who'd pick the body from the ghetto or the streets and help them. I used to work at a club called Tit for Tat up there with a band called Mighty Volcanoes. I used to be the background singer. Al Brown used to be the first singer, and I was the second singer. And then Cox used to come up there, used to drink up there. So he saw me one night, and he was listening to me one night, and he says, he said, Jackson, you have a good voice. He called me Jackson. He said, Jackson, you have a good voice. So I didn't know who he was at the time. And they said, that's Cox was talking. I said, what? So I went back to him and said, Cox, I have some songs. He said, yeah. All right, come down to the studio Sunday for audition. They have audition every Sunday. And he would be one who taking the audition. So I went to the back room. There was a half done back room at the back of the studio and sing. And I started singing. And then he said, okay, go in the studio and tell Brother Morris. So,
were you nervous auditioning before the great concert?
Yeah, he was nervous. I said, go in the studio and go to Brother Morris. Morris just passed away about two days ago. God bless his soul. Sylvan Morris. He was the engineer down there. And Larry Marshall and Sister Enid was, one who helped string up the wires and string up the stuff on there. They went in there, man, I saw the musicians in there and they said, well, start to sing. I started singing Bobby Carl Fat. Started to, strum it out on the grand piano. And then you have people like Bagger Case and then people coming. There were musicians at this time. And Peter Carter, Father Frios. Man, I couldn't believe that was Professor when I heard it. But these were the days when you had two tracks. So they put all the music on one, and you have another track with your voice on. So if you want to voice with the harmony would be over your shoulder, and they would have pull them back or push them forward to adjust the sound they want because there's two tracks. And those were not the days you could sing and patch. You have to sing straight through. So musicians from that era had to be respected because they really had what it takes to make it to stardom,
One take.
One take.
Yes.
If not one take, you come back and take another take. If it takes all day, and if you stay too long, producer get mad and say, look, go home and practice and come back.
Wow.
So when you get that far with Cox, nobody wants to lose that opportunity. Because when I was going in the studio, a lot of people outside looking like, would that won't get through. People will be waiting on it for days and days. I used to go down there and hang around after times, hang around down there and didn't realize that, and if I get a chance to see Cox.
Wow.
And then when I just start know who Cox is now, then that's when I realized he started coming around to the club, and then by the way, we get to know each other. So it was a joy working with him. I thought realize who he was,
A part of history.
Part of history.
And you would go on to make your own history. Talk about, what put you on the map, so to speak.
But the song that put me on the map is No Gesturing. That was same thing happened. Clive Chin used to come up to the club. He and Jacob Miller and used to hang around with Carlton, the drummer for Bob Marley. He used to come up there. And I always press him. I always say, look, I got some record, I got music. And he said, okay, come down to the studio. Come on a Wednesday. Went out there. Went to the studio with Sly.
Hold on. Are you talking about Sly Dunbar?
Yeah, man.
Okay, because we have to, you drop some name casually.
Yeah, man.
Just legend. You're just throwing around.
I remember Kwasi. That's why you see me stay the way me stay, because of my mentor, this,
Yeah, man.
Okay.
School, yes,
Yeah, man. The people working Sly and Lighter Parks, Roger McLean, Hansi Collins play keyboard, Duke Bryan and lead guitar. Yeah.
Wow.
Those are the people who backed me up with No Gesturing. And No Gesturing became a big overnight sensation. Way back in the studio and the Miss Wireways. That again was a big thing. Then come the big one, Fatty Boom Boom. That was the million seller. And right there, that I was set from the time,
Okay.
So,
And what is it like to have a hit song in Jamaica in those days?
well, I don't know. It changed my life from, changed my life where I could afford to start building my house and buy a car and all the girls start rushing. It was different, It was different. As we a star, it was different. Total different life. I couldn't take bus again. I started using taxis everywhere I go, and it was a different life, you know.
Okay.
But being young and had money, you're reckless here and there sometimes.
All right. So I'm an entertainment attorney. So I'm going to ask a couple of questions just in terms of the business part.
Yeah.
In those days, did you understand publishing?
Well, fortunate for me, at the time when I got the recording done, I was working at a factory, at a razor blade factory, Gillette.
Okay.
And Mr. Anderson, he used to go down to drunk with a lunch every night. That's where he drink down at Sheraton.
Yes.
And Sonny Bradshaw, the Magnificent Seven, was the resident band.
Okay.
Down there with Sparrow Martin and Jackie, the bass player Jackie. Quite a few other people. There's a band down there. So
you're talking about Jackie Me Too?
No, not Jackie Me Too.
Okay.
Jackie Jackson, the bass man.
Okay, Jackie Jackson. Okay.
Yeah. I met Jackie Me Too at Studio One, but he didn't play with me. I just saw him.
Okay.
But anyway, after the tune burst out, I started getting real popular. And Mr. Anderson, who is my boss from the Razor Blade factory, I guess he was bragging about me. My boys doing well and blah, 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 and Mr. Bradshaw asked him if I'm covered, if I'm okay, if I'm secured. I didn't understand what he meant. So he asked him what he meant. So he said, well, you have a publisher, you publish him stuff. So the boss came to me the next day and said, Mr. Bradshaw said, you need to publish your stuff. So go down to Ted Powder at Federal and publish your stuff. So I went down there and published about 100 songs. Because I have all these songs that are written. He said, publish all these songs, I publish all these songs. So luckily, I was published with Fatty Boom, with No Justin, Ways, and some other songs. Fatty Boom Boom, that was published in England with PRS.
I was going to ask you, because I know that was before they had JCap.
Yes. The long before, yeah.
Yeah. So you would have used PRS.
Yes. Yeah, by that time was 74,
Yes.
So we got PRS. PRS took over.
74 is before I'm even born. So I just of what we are talking about. All right.
Let me sing. Let me tour them time. Yeah, man. And Campbell Conley was the publishing in Burnley Street in London. That sign up with them, and then PRS got it, and then
yes,
I realize all the different. I learned about mechanical royalties.
Yes.
About publishing. I learned about copywriting, and I started to learn. I still don't learn everything yet because not to the extent and things change, but at least I had grown.
So you benefited from that knowledge. What was your background? What community were you born into? And where did you go to high school? Because Jamaicans always want to know where you go to high school.
I was born in Black River, St. Elizabeth. Grew up in Black River and grew up in between there and Mountainside.
Okay.
Went to a Mountainside. Giddy Hall Primary School first, then came down to.
So rural Jamaica then.
More of Jamaica, yeah, and I went to technical for a few terms, yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Well, we give thanks again, Fatty Boom Boom. We're gonna play the modern interpretation before the episode is over.
Yeah, man.
Because you gave it a go-go upgrade.
Yeah.
With the great Ras Lidge who is beside us. So Ras Lidge, I have to bring you into the reasoning now. For those who are not familiar with who Ras Lidge is, right now we're here in Washington, D.C. Your hometown, the Lion Voice Network, is rising out of. Ras Lidge, you rise up something there. Talk to me. What's that?
I want to tell you, I come from a kind of celebration today of my brother's life, and I have a cousin who lives in Trelawney, who moved from DC to Trelawney.
And when this article came out, just to show you what this article is from, this is Jamaica's newspaper, okay? This is, if I can find the front, this is the Observer, man.
Yeah.
So this is the Observer from February 25th.
Yes.
Jeez, I gotta find my camera.
Mm.
This is the Observer. And
Yeah.
in the Observer, February 25th is where they wrote about Ras and Fatty Boom Boom gets a Reggae treatment.
Yes.
And I saw it online, but I just get the hard copy version today. So I'm well excited about that.
Nice.
My cousin came back to DC and she bought me like 3 copies of it, man.
Nice.
So yeah, that was in Jamaica Observer in February, where it talks, say, same thing where you just speak on, Fatty Boom Boom get the Reggae treatment.
We want to just publicly acknowledge condolences to your family.
Bless.
You're going through a great tragedy.
Yeah, man.
We spoke to Ras. If you watch the episode of Lion Talk, he talked about his 4 brothers, 2 of which had died via violence, 2 non-violent means, and you just lost another brother to violence. And just to give some context, people have to know that DC right now is in a state of turmoil in terms of the violence in the communities. It's being gentrified rapidly, but the small pockets of the inner city communities are under a lot of pressure. Inflation, cost of living has gone up, a lot of stress, a lot of insecurity, and as a result, there is a spike in violence in the city. Let's talk to us, Ras. How have you been managing? How have you been coping through this difficult period?
Rastafari alone, man. Rastafari alone. I want to just say greetings, each and everyone, once again. Thank you for all who subscribe to Lion's Voice. Thank you for all who watched the first Lion Voice. I didn't know there was going to be a series of videos based off the ones we did. We did a 1 hour video. You guys responded to that so well that it had to break down into a series of videos. I want to salute Kwasi Bansu for that. You know what I mean? The Judge Match Kwasi, yes. And great promotion for me, great promotion for Reggae. I am Ras out of Washington, D.C. I was laughing when Carl Malcolm said he was, he's from the Black River area of Jamaica. And because I know a little patois, I like to say, I'm from the Anacostia area of D.C., the Anacostia River. I grew up in the Anacostia River area of Southeast Washington, D.C. So, yeah, I'm from Southeast D.C., Ward 8 original. And early on, I just got a love for reggae music as well as my own Washington, D.C. go-go music right here. And through the blessing and the guidance and the liberty of Rastafari way of life, I was able to get a vision and a mission to take reggae music, merge it with our own indigenous Washington, D.C. go-go music, because I felt go-go music needed a conscious and a cultural speech and concept like reggae music always had. Reggae music always told stories. And so to take go-go music beyond just being a party music and a dance music, I personally, as a Rasta man, wanted the go to be the conscious voice of the go-go and speak Rastafari, true word, sound, liberty, and just a conscious and upliftment at way of life. Because as you say, going through the things through the years with my brothers and seeing the grim and the grief and the despair here, the only way I survive it all, man, is to keep, I have a song, everything you do, you put Jah first, to get through this mentally, emotionally. We didn't have counseling in my days when I started going through this kind of grief. There was no counseling. And for me to cope, there's been music alone and just my faith in Jah, and the link of consciousness and positive people. Carl Malcolm is here in the DC area. I keep Elder Rastafari bridging around that for my guidance, and it's just been a true blessing to me. And that helped separate me and reggae music from the pack and to move forward. And I can say from my experiences in music, I know that Rastafari liberty and Rastafari way of life is real, because I've reached some really, as you see me come in the Gleaner newspaper, and other things as well. I believe that, you know, it's only because I do music through Rastafari Liberty that I reach so far. So I give thanks for that. I give thanks for this platform, and that's who Raslidge Rego is.
Give thanks, Russellage. It's very powerful. And again, condolences. The Almighty have to guide and protect us.
Yeah.
And I want to just go into the topic because one of the things you said is that music healed you. And today, you know, we're all here. What brings us all here on this platform is the love of reggae music. And I wanted to talk about the direction of our reggae music, what the role reggae music has in the world, Rastafari, you know, because a lot of people are depending on reggae as the heartbeat, the soul, you know, what gets them through those hard times. You know, it's more than just partying and merriment, which, you know, all music, you know, reggae is one of the few music, you know, where the message was infused from the very beginning.
Yeah.
You know, Brother Carl, please just give us, you know, your thoughts about the role of reggae music and the message. You were there when it was born, literally. You saw the birth of the music. You know, what, you know, how do you see reggae music in terms of message music and what it means to the peoples of the world?
Reggae music is like a newspaper. It tells about everything that happens, for instance, in Jamaica. I could stay in America and I could listen to reggae music and it tells me what they're wearing, the way they're talking, what type of violence is happening. The violence come like in a trend. One day they're using guns and another time they're using knives, they're using machete. It's like people follow trends. The music started out from the Nyabingi idea of chanting Rastafari.
Okay.
And chanting the truth through Rastafari. And most of the Asian people I know who really got me interested in Rastafari is through the music. You know, even though younger people than me, we from people like Cedric Brooks and from way back from the Ras, Michael, Sons of Lagos. People from there, I used to listen to a lot of those type of music. You know, from Count Ozzy. I can't call so many names, I don't remember them. But those are the music I used to listen to until it came down to Bob. I wouldn't say Bob influenced me because Bob and me are the same age, so we you know, I couldn't say he influenced me. I was in music before I even knew Bob. I was in music.
So you actually you met Bob Marley?
I met Bob several times.
Okay.
I used to go over his house. I'm almost every evening watch him play football. I wasn't good at it, but I used to go over there and mix because Carter and me were good friends. Me and Clive and Carter used to spar every night. We go on places. So yes, Bob come into like, it's not like I was talking to Russ all the time. I wrote a time in my life I used to be a record salesman too for Rupert Edwards. And I used to take records over to Bob's shop. And I remember the days when I had a liquor store in Half a Tree. I was working for Success Record in Half a Tree, a store. Bob used to come in liquor S90, liquor short pants, khaki pants, and come and have his little records on his finger like this. And he would come and put on 3 on the counter and say, play them. I play them. And he say, you like it? If he say no, he say, okay, and gone. If he say yes, I used to take the records, and because my manager wouldn't put out the money to buy it. I wouldn't say too much, but he wouldn't buy the records. I used to take the records and say, Bob, give me 6 of them records. And I would take them and say, when he come back next week, I would give him the money. And I used to go down where he has a store, and you know, so I met him down there, return with everybody. So it's when I talk about Bob Marley, a lot of people don't know Bob Marley background. But there are things I know about Bob Marley that I wouldn't say.
Okay.
You know, but there's the other side of Bob Marley that people don't even know. God, the people look at him like, okay, he's this guy who come on, he's luxurious and no, Bob went through some serious struggling with society in Jamaica because of Rastafari.
Okay.
Because at the time when he was, you call him a soul rebel, He used to suit and tie and nice broom here and thing. He was accepted by society. But then again, he started doing protest songs that's against government and against the oppressors. And he started Professor Rastafari. So he started going barefoot, short pants, and just being rugged, just being like a rebel. So at that time, he had to struggle to bring the music to the platform it is. Then after the music bust out, that's when people start gravitating. At first, they wouldn't even play it on the radio, they wouldn't recognize him. But his music helped to curve the Rastafari movement in Jamaica from the elders. So the elders come down to him. And he carried music further and then Burning Spear, go along. And you have people.
Did you meet Burning Spear as well?
Yeah, man, I meet all these people.
Wow. And I love that you talked about how he put the message into the music.
Yeah, put the message in music. Yeah.
How important was that for you as an artist to put some message into your music, or is it important to you as an artist?
It's very, very important because we all come from the era where people used to suffer. People used to hungry and, well, looking back at it now, it was really hunger. It was wanting for another type of food. Because I could always get breadfruit out of the tree and always get pear and pineapple and blah, blah, blah. After that time, you want something else. So you say you're hungry, but if you look back, you're not really hungry. There's food in abundance. But the Rasta music brings out a lot of these things. That's the artists I was still about cultural things. That's what brought the awareness of Rasta and reggae. They go together because reggae music was a medium of bringing Rastafari to the people.
Very important. Now, Lidge, I know put message in the music. Go-go music doesn't always come with that message. How has that impacted maybe your success locally in the go-go scene? And how important is it for you? Obviously, you're going against the grain, so it's there's something that resonates in your heart. But talk about that journey for you in terms of reggae and the message and the music.
All right, couple of things I want to say. First, I want to say, stick a slight pin, call. I want you to come back to this because this is important that I want people to get. I'm going to answer your question, Kasi. But Carl talked about him working in the record shops for a time. And one of the stories that I got from Carl that always inspired me is his time in a very popular shop that we as reggae lovers know to now be VP Records. But Carl was there before VP Records when it was called Randy Records. And he'd have to give you the full strong on that. But as far as I know, with that was really inspirational what Carl said about what Bob had to go through. Because in a way, I'm always looking for, the glass half empty, half full. Or as we say, pick sense out of nonsense. Go-go music, as we know, in the time of the 80s and 90s was always associated with, I'm sorry to say this, my music, I love it, but it was associated with bad boyism, violence, and that kind of thing. Well, for me to take on Rastafari way of life definitely was getting against the grain. And then no matter how hard my band crank, when we say cranky in DC, that means your band driving hard, your band really putting it out. No matter how hard my band crank, I'm not doing the regular cover songs and just dance songs. So it almost made me an outcast, and it did. And go-go, rather, one of the things that they did in the negative that helped me in the positive was it kind of pushed me out the door of go-go. It pushed me out. I was no longer, my name is not going to be a name you call when the people start book or, want the bands to see. So I had to build, and the best thing and beauty in that was I had to build my own crowd and audience on the outskirts of DC. So I started going places, Hagerstown, Frederick, Maryland, deep in Virginia, Carolinas. I carried my sound everywhere and build my grassroots audience like that. And the more that the brethren and sisters who were still hitting hard in go-go noticing, they couldn't no longer, after years of doing this, overlook me or count me out, because everywhere they look, especially with the incoming of social media, my name, my promotion, my music is still coming and recording. I never stop recording and putting them in DJ hands. So, but it's and again, I can't thank Carl Malcolm and other ones in our reggae community here in DC who, you know, have been true, helping along in just the unification of ones and ones, because it let me know that I did have something, you know what I mean? And to get the, you know, you see who Carl is now. And to get him to be able to come to the studio and say, nah, you would form up your thing like this. And for me to humble myself and listen, that meant I was winning. That meant that I was graduating. I had something that, you know, wanted to be seen and heard, and it just needed to be nurtured. And, you know, I understood that part of the assignment, and give thanks to the Most High that I just continued to listen, you know, so that started to build me. But as he said, when you go against the grain or you come up with something new or something different, it's not popular and people are not going to receive it. But what makes it work for me is the truth and the true word sound that's in it, and the true word sound in the consciousness in the speech. And that for me, that's why I say Rego. That's why I don't say go reggae. I put the reggae first, Rego, because that true word sound, as Carl was saying earlier, that's what forwarded reggae music out of oppression. I can remember early on hearing Bob say, one thing about me, I blaze Kaya from a 10.5 years old, from a young. I'm a love woman, I'm a love dance, I'm a love hold my woman, and as Jamaican used to say back in the day, rubber dub. And one of the, you know, biggest lines I can remember hearing Bob say is, you know, we'll share the shelter of my single bed. Is this love? Is this love? Is this love if I'm feeling? Can you imagine what kind of one-room house? I'm just visioning. He living in a one-room house with his woman, and that's all he have is his woman and probably his guitar. And he just say, trust me, babe. You know what I mean? If nothing else, we're going to make it. You know what I mean? Is this love that I'm feeling? So these kind of messages and songs.
And think how that resonates around the world in inner city communities all around the world where people are in abject poverty, but love still is there, you know?
Yeah.
Love is still there. Yeah.
Love is still there.
And that was important to me, what I noticed that reggae music had that no other music has. Now, we in DC, the unique thing about the go-go is our beat. It's a swing beat that if you're not really from here, you don't really understand how to swing the snare and the hi-hat. And that's what made the go-go. Carl Malcolm's wife, Anita Malcolm, she's one of the original female drummers, and she's the greatest at it. You know what I'm saying? Blessed to have her in the band with I, you know?
That's so.
Yeah, so and that's what makes reggae unique to me, because I found what I believe to be that unique thing about reggae music, the message that brings you through the poverty, the oppression, the sad feelings. You know, reggae music give you that. And listen to R&B. You know why I can't get into R&B, man? And even though I'm born in America and R&B is American music, the man them cry and beg them women all day and all night long. It's just so, oh baby, I'm so sorry. Miss you, miss you, miss you. Oh, I. Man, they cry for years.
But
Every R&B song cry, and they hurt and they broken. Where's the joy? Where's the love? You know what I mean?
Yeah, man, it's serious. It's serious. So in terms of where the music is currently, how do we feel about where reggae music is currently? Are we satisfied with the direction of the music right now? Can reggae be doing more? Are we covering? We just came out of a global pandemic. You know, are we where we need to be?
Well, no, but we are not giving up on it. The seed has been planted and the foundation is still there. And the roots, they must come back to the roots. You know, everything will go around the corner and come back. Because what really happens is a new generation now, and they want a new sound. And just like one time we are talking about things change. Right now we can be looking at each other and talking like this virtually. The kids are moving to a new dimension and they want a music that represents their generation. So all we got to do as a foundation is stand up strong and do what we are doing until the gatekeepers open the gate. You have some gatekeepers who are keeping it good, the gate closed and reggae so they can push forward a new agenda. People talking about Afrobeat going to take over and dancehall take over and disco and take over and trap music. They bring something named trap music. It was the same time they're bringing it the music that makes that the Spanish took over now called reggaeton.
Reggaeton.
They claim that it's theirs. And I think that what really happened is that Jamaica is not protecting the artists enough. They're not protecting. There's no place in government that protects the artists' rights in Jamaica and make sure that the music stays there. Even though the music has brought in millions of dollars to Jamaica, tourists come there just to listen to music, involved in the music, and they act as if it's just a secondary thing. Of course, people come and listen to dancehall. I like dancehall too. Some of the dancehall, not all the dancehall, because some have lyrics and it's not really going anywhere. But no. Things are going to change because now they start to realize how much violence is being brought forth through the modern music, and now they're trying to kill it. It's going to take some time because the young kids who you already taught, they are going to live through that generation and thinking that gun is the only way out. That generation going to have to die out, and the fresh generation come. So reggae music is still going to be there, but it's going to be dominated by other genres. Unless the younger ones start to project the agenda from the older artists. I'm not saying you can sing the same thing because those words are not there anymore and the lifestyle has changed, but still you have to push the roots, the foundation. The rappers in America have this street rap, and it works sometimes when they're doing positive things, but a lot of things is just about the woman and about jewelry and about the mansion and about the vanity. That is just not what the music is supposed to be in reggae.
Well, they call it radio programming.
Yeah.
What we see is that program, the results that it's yielding may not be the best for our young people. And this is the concern. The other concern I know is the economics. Right now, to make money as a reggae band, you're depending on markets like California. You're depending on the America East Coast market to some lesser extent, Europe. And so there may be a concern with some of the younger artists that if their music is too edgy, that there could be backlash which would cut into their earnings. Do you think this is a valid concern? First Carl Malcolm, then the Ira Sledge.
It depends on what you sing about and what you do, who to touch. There's certain people out there who are gatekeepers, who control who will aspect of the thing. If you keep on stepping on them, they're going to step on you.
Mm-hmm.
They have the wicked have power, right? And there are some people on their own lane, and you need to leave them in their own lane. If you don't eat pork, let the pork eat pork. You eat beef, eat your beef. I eat fish, don't criticize me. Leave me, let me eat my fish. What they're doing is stepping in other people's corners, and these people know how the power. Because the world is corrupt by it's politics. Everywhere you go is politics. These people have great politics. They have lawyers and doctors and generation in their corner, and they can crush you. So if you really want to feed your children or uplift yourself, stay in your corner. Let's go to Bob Marley. He didn't go into another man's space. And all through the years, burning spear, they don't go to other people's space. They stay in this space. And the names of people because they stay in their corner.
Excellent point. And I just want to acknowledge we've been communicating with Duane Stephenson. He's trying to log on. We're having some technical difficulties.
Yeah.
We're doing our best to try to get the brethren online here behind the scenes. So he has been in communication. So I just want to big up Duane Stephenson.
Come on, big up Duane.
Not able to work out the technical, we will reschedule with the brethren because he has a very excellent take on some of these topics. So I definitely want to get that in. But that aside, Russell, what is the I take about what's happening in reggae? Are they being too safe in order to save their earnings and therefore not touching the people? Because I'm not hearing a lot of reggae songs recently that are really cutting through and touching the soul of the people. And you had an excellent point, Brother Carl, is that we're not even talking about touching a next man lane, but just even staying within our lane or within Rastafari. I mean, I haven't heard any songs glorifying His Majesty recently.
Yeah.
I haven't heard any repatriation song recently.
Yeah.
These are staples from the 70s, the glory days of the music. We would hear these type of songs. Russellage, talk to Iman about how you feel.
All right, so sometimes I feel I don't have as much to comment on Jamaican music as the authentic Jamaicans, as the I themselves. But as a lover of Jamaican music and the way Jamaican music has influenced me as someone being from the outside looking in, I can remember during my time coming along, the songs of the 80s, late 80s and 90s, and not just roots and culture reggae music, but also dancehall. It just inspired me, and the way that the dancehall artists, Shaba, Beanie, Buju, when I was doing cover tune shows, I can say my early career, I made it off doing Buju and Shaba covers a lot. And what always impressed me about the artists of those days, they wrote, and they wrote colorful, even if they sang what was considered to be slackness, okay? People complain about slackness in the music. Beanie could say, girl, I'm going to take my chalk and mark up your blackboard. You know, you use your sense, you know what that means.
It's suggestive, but it's not lewd.
It's suggestive, but not lewd. It's not directly what they come with.
Yeah, I say hi for the boom boom. Switch your dumpling.
Yes. You know.
For the boom boom, you know what I mean, but I'm not going to say it to play.
Yeah. And
The modern kids are saying it play. That's what killing
they're
music.
just saying, and people think saying it plain is cool and would take it. But for me, what that takes out is the artistry of being a writer.
Yes.
You know what I mean? The creativity of wordsmith. You know what I mean? As I said, when I come into Rastafari, I grew, I got a lot of my knowledge from Ras Tafari, who was a dub poet and the elder. Tafari had a way with words, was just, he could turn sentences and words inside out and biblically in. And so that art is being lost. And I will say this as an outside lover of reggae music in Jamaican. I want to look straight into the camera. To you young Jamaican artists, please listen to what I'm saying and get back to being Jamaican. Because for me, as an outside lover of reggae music, in my time coming along, in the 80s and 90s, and even when you hear Brother Carl Malcolm talk, Jamaica set the trend in. And Jamaica, with that kind of lyrical writing, that kind of Marcus Garveyism about being forward and direct and being proud of yourself, who you are as Jamaicans, is what make the world love you as Jamaica and as Jamaicans.
Important.
Please get back to that, because really, I'm glad that I learned from you and I know how to write my own songs now. I know to be colorful words. I give thanks for all of you for accepting my music. And Jamaica and Jamaican cultures have definitely been a launch pad for me. But as I said, coming up when before I got polished in this, I hung on Buju and Shaba lyrics because I know how to get the rough voice and hey, this one is called, you know, I know how to do that. And so at that time, like I said, it was just the amazement at what these artists were doing, and it made them stand out and be great from any other music, because that was real Jamaican music. Now, when you want to come crossover, as Brother Carl said, and I'm not even gonna claim it in my lane because I'm not and will never be a trap artist. Trap music is American music, you know. And you're trying to cross it. I tell people when I sing "No Woman, No Cry," I do it in a reggae style. But listen, this song is originally written by Bob Marley. I can never be a better Bob Marley than Bob Marley. I can only be the best Ras that I can be. So, do you know what I would say is Ras? Let me share this experience with you. So, I say that to say, you guys might think you have trap beats or this and that, but what we want from the outside is the real Jamaican beats.
Bass line, drum and bass.
Drum and bass. We want real Jamaican culture. I don't care if you got to go back to the Panani rhythm and answer rhythm. Those rhythms was driving.
But every time we hear a big dancehall song, it's a 90s dancehall rhythm. You know, anytime I hit from an international artist, they're going back to that same sound. And even Afro beats, you know, they're using a lot of that template.
Yes.
On their songs, the same 90s dancehall template. So, you know, it works. It's a proven formula to get people dancing. And I think you cannot take the dance out of dancehall, or you're bound to fail.
You're gonna fail if you take it out.
And the problem that we're having now, let's talk about Rastafari, because to I it's a very sensitive topic. You know, we don't have a lot. We have a lot of artists that are Rastafari artists, but we don't have a lot of artists that sing about Rastafari.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? In terms of strong, futuristic messaging, unapologetic Rastafari lyrics. You more, I see, have artists trying to fit in, or have, you know, make music that's kind of middle of the road. You know. In terms of the, you know, and I overstand it because, like I say, I'm an entertainment attorney. I overstand the business, but the funny thing is, if we look at, for example, Sizzla Kalonji, when was he the most successful? When he was singing the most ardent, militant Rastafari songs. Bob Marley, Burning Spear, Anthony B, Luciano, I mean, Garnet Silk. When we look at, we can go down the line when they were at the height of their power. Jacob Miller, you know, they were singing songs that were unapologetic Rastafari. And you know, I've heard music executives say that reggae would do better if they take Rastafari out of it. You know, I've heard that myself. But the evidence doesn't seem to support that assertion. World has a crave, even with this, the reggae revival, in the early part of the reggae revival with Chronics and all of those artists, they were singing, you know, militant Rastafari songs, and that's, you know, I would argue is what helped them to get global acclaim. Carl Malcolm, talk to I about Rastafari in the music and what is needed, or what you see.
There are some evil forces out there fighting Rastafari. And it's going back to the ancient days of Rastafari when they used to call us used to call them the Black Heart Man. Be careful, the Black Heart Man, because when Rastafari started trying the earth of Jamaica, nobody understood. This man used to be a man who was very calm and collective and came down to basic, like selling brooms, selling coal, selling these little things on the road. Nobody respected him because he was not a clean person. Was just, they didn't understand the Rasta man we are living. And I see going back to the days now where younger generation are coming up now and start disrespecting Rasta. And the way to this spread Rasta is to put out all these music that people start to go to dance. No music that should be played behind closed doors is no play dance hall. It plays out there and it plays till 3 o'clock at night, and that's why government have come and start a lot of the dances because the music get to a point where it start to spread the wrong message across the nation. And it hits the unprivileged who have nowhere to go but to that little spot. And this is the music that is being played to them every day. So when even the school bus is going to school in Jamaica, they have a sound system in every bus. And it's playing all these type of music. The little girls now don't even know what to do. Mom will turn, I don't want to say prostitute, but they're looking in that direction. So there's nobody teaching Rastafari in the buses. There's nobody teaching Rastafari on the street. Because it's pure bad man thing going on. So now the Rastafari goes to his meeting, but the younger kids not following, 1 or 2 follow, the kids not following to that area. Because you wouldn't go to Weddy and see Rastafari meeting. You wouldn't go to Uptown Mondays and there's a Rastafari meeting. The Rastafari go to the bushes with his Naya thing because there's no space for him to preach Rastafari in the inner city.
I like how you show your current with the dances, them Weddy and Uptown Mondays.
Yeah, everything that's going on.
Yeah, man, I like how you up to it.
Yeah, and everything that's going on. See what I'm saying? But this is what really happened is that nobody is preaching Rastafari at them dance day. It just started to come back now because it started closing, man. Then it started to come back now. We have to notice now. Don't mention Sizzla. Don't waste Sizzla. What was Sizzla about? Because I used to look at Sizzla as Rastafari. But after he started to preach so much violence, I don't know about Rasta preaching violence. He had Give It On not too bad. But most of them people preaching too much violence in music. I mean, how can you be preaching violence? I will shoot bad and I shoot. I got the gun and I got this. That's not Rastafari. That's gangsterism.
Yes.
So people who used to look up to you as a Rasta and then see operating that way, thinking that Rastafari means that. You know, they used to say that Bob wasn't a soft boy. No, he wasn't. The gang means tough. But you never hear him sing songs like those. Like he want to kill everybody and kill this and kill that and man tell you what go do man. You never sing something like those. Two celebrities who make it big. The Morgan, Prince Buster, and the other big people from those areas, they never sing songs like those. And they made it to the top of the world, just in case. Right now, it's a money grabbing thing. And anything they can disrespect, they disrespect the elders because of money grabbing thing. So your day is done, you're gone. Your day is done. They think that their music is the music of the day. It might be the music of the day, but it's not music of the decade because this decade is going to be noticed as one of the worst decade of music history. It has caused too much damage.
Wow.
If you notice, every DJ in Jamaica come out now. Popcorn is against. Popcorn is against Black Rhino. Cartel is against Mavado. This is against that, and it's pure clash. As somebody says something, you hear man say, "Oh, man, dissing," and the bloggers are pushing violence in Jamaica because the blind. But if I say Ras, not like a Ras, like a Ras talk last night, the bloggers say, "Boy, come this Ras bad last night, murder, murder Ras last night, I was reading this thing and say,
did post about it.
Yeah, you must say.
That's how you get clicks,
Yes.
The best way is to highlight mix up.
Highlight things and highlight
Lion Voice
context.
Network. We don't promote any mix up on this channel.
You see, and this is what happened to the music, man. They're pushing the music.
So you're saying Rastafari is needed more than ever right now in the music?
Rastafari is needed more than ever right now. Rastafari is needed more ever right now.
One of the things that I believe that I see, I want to say, it just stresses me to almost say it, that makes it hard for the youth to look towards Rastafari is they have to understand that we as Rasta are human and we live life. People are looking for a Messiah, a biblical. There's no perfect man. You know what I mean? We're only trying. King Haile Selassie is the example, our example of how to live. You know what I mean? And ones are afraid to even attempt to allow themselves to live up to it through the scrutiny and the judgment they may face if they fall short. But you can't be afraid to try to live up to it. You know, as I said, one of my favorite artists is still to this day, was then and still, and he faces his adversity, and that's Buju Banton. You know what I mean? He faces it, but can you imagine Buju in his day from Till I Lay to Rest, how that thing just take up for Rasta? It take up the banner. And when we see Buju faces adversity, it takes something out of some of us. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It takes I can remember you guys talk about Sizzler. I can remember, what was it, early 2000. I was living in Carolina. Sizzler come down there and do a show, and everybody down there in Carolina at that time loved Sizzler. And when Sizzler get down there, they see him wear some kind of thing, kind of like what I have on here, and the top is open and his dread is open and exposed, and it wasn't a Bobo rap. You want to see the inside of some of them. That alone just made them sink. And he must have talked to some young lady at the time who them people know says a young lady who's, you know, that made them sink inside. So as Rasta, we have a lot to stand up to. And like you say, with this internet and social media, all they want to do is when you say, hey, I stand for truth and rights.
Yeah.
I stand for, you know, justice and one love for all. They want to take this social media and just point the finger at you. They will go back in my history and, boy, you remember the man used to live in Southeast and how him used to go and look him brother there, man. He the same one, he the same way. Oh, him come on and a Rasta. You know what I'm saying? So judgment and persecution and a lot of people. The social media thing is another thing too, where I think people think it's a quick rise and they're willing to sacrifice everything and all. They go put all the business, them mama, them papa, them sister, brother, everything for this social media to try to get a win. Or, you know, I don't know even though they're in it for the monetary. Some of them are just in it for the popularity.
They say attention is a drug, you know.
Yes.
Attention is a drug.
You want it to.
And you know, we come from a generation where we didn't even like to have cameras in the room. I tell people I feel so sad because I know, Rastafari, how much events that we've done and things in DMV. I wish I had them things they recorded and Lion Voice Network for document some of them works, but you know, it's just in the memory banks now. We did, you know, symposiums at Howard University, interfaith reasoning, coronation event, this, that, you know, every year we used to do them, and you know, we never had cameras there, you know, and you know, people take them camera, but that was before the smartphone really catch on, you know. So we wish we had those things documented, but to your point, Raslage, right now social media attention, it's a drug.
Yes.
And what I'm seeing from Rastafari is that we are, instead of standing out and being leaders, we're more trying to follow the pack and get the people to accept us.
Yep.
In their way, you know.
Yeah. We're not sitting trade anymore. We are following now.
Yes.
And we are the older ones that try to push us out the road. They're like, get out of the way, we are coming. You know what I'm saying?
And the more we see our top names who we know as Rastafari and Rastafari artists, you know, you turn on social media tomorrow and you see them involved in some pasa and back and forth. You know, that is a blow, a big blow to Rastafari culture. And I just want to say still, you know, to anybody watching Lion's Voice, those who will watch and enjoying, like, share, subscribe, like, share, subscribe, like, share, subscribe, Lion's Voice, Reggae Music, Rasledge Reggae, like, share, subscribe. But I want to say to you really, big and serious and truly, get to know about Rastafari. Rastafari is a true and living way of life. And as I can say, for me as a ghetto youth coming out and facing so much adversity in Southeast DC and places like that, it has been Rastafari way of life, and it's been a struggle, but that has guided I and kept I alive and helped I to survive and cope with all of these things. So Rastafari and playing reggae music, calling out the name of Rastafari in my music and my word sound. Many of you today, some of you still don't even know about go-go music. It is alive and well. But because I have Rastafari inside of my music, I can tell you it is carrying me. You might not know my name. You will. But it is carrying me to places across the globe, you know, and because I like to think that as much as possible in my ability, I live true to Rastafari. And because I live true to Rastafari, it has been true to me. So I want to put that out there to those of us who are still trying, striving, willing to pursue, willing to live the Rastafari way of life, encouraged about it, enlightened about it. There's no wrong in it. Get to know it. You know what I mean? Nothing worth having is made easy, but it is. And Rastafari, we are in the scriptures from the beginning. It is the black consciousness and the black awakening, what they don't teach you inside of the scriptures. You see, it is the theocracy of the scriptures, Rastafari way of life and liberty. So get with true brethren and true sisters and sit down. And we and Naya Bingi, we don't organize as a church as you go to church here in America and I as a preacher preach to you and read you 2-4 scriptures and you must go home and meditate that. And it's right because I said so as your church pastor. No, just like you see Ras Kwasi, Carl Malcolm, and Ras Lidge here, if we open the scripture now and read, we are allowed to share a part of the scripture and we're allowed to reason with one another about this knowledge of the scripture. You know, Carl as an elder may bring us to a point deeper where the Old Testament would refer back to the New Testament could refer back to the Old Testament and showing us the same thing. You have elders who will open the Bible and show you the maps in the Bible, the ancient maps. And if you match them up to the maps of today, you will see why we have, as Bob said, wars and rumors of wars and these places and these different areas, because it is written from them days there.
Yeah.
Who are we as a people in a place in the Holy Scriptures? Rastafari teachings will show you that. And you, through these teachings, will become more confident and more conscious of yourself and who you are and know how to use that knowledge to move forward, to navigate through all these negatives that we see in social media, negatives and adversities that you face every day, because you now have the knowledge and you possess the knowledge and the wisdom and the strength within to move forward. That's Rastafari.
I'm glad you said the way forward and move forward, because I want to talk about the way forward. I think that we have to become more business oriented. Part of the problem that we have as Rastafari, where I think we're not getting the messaging we want, is because we depend on other people's platforms.
Yes.
In order to get out the message. You know, we have historically not built our own infrastructure. This is my passion, you know, as a Rastafari brethren. That's why I created the Lion Voice Network, because I can always go on other people's platform. I know publicists. I know, you know, I've been on stage with Winford William. I've been on The Fix. I've been on all of these programs in Jamaica. And we big them up and we give thanks. But as Rastafari, we shouldn't have to go on other people's platform if we want to have a reasoning like this.
Yes.
and then somebody tell us we only have 10 minutes and we have to condense down. You know what I mean? Or if I want to go on a tour, I have to go through a Live Nation Ticketmaster scenario.
Mm-hmm.
And because of that, I can't say certain things that is Rastafari endorse, you know, because I know that it might be contrary
Mm-hmm.
to, you know, this economic, and because we don't have our economic base, I think that we're vulnerable. And the practical reality of people having to raise families, you know, children needing school fee, have to put food on the table as artists. We have to overstand that part.
Yes.
But we had our own ecosystem, and this is something that I champion on my channel, is the creation of creative ecosystems. If we all had our own ecosystems and we could leverage ecosystems with each other, then we wouldn't have to worry about being canceled. We wouldn't have to worry about, because there's always a demand and a market
Mm-hmm.
for what Rastafari does. As I gave examples before, all of these artists, most of the Rastafari artists are at their peak, at their most militant in terms of their messaging. That's when the fire catch and the whole world is going to buy tickets, because it create that interest. So if we had our own platforms that we could sustain that, because once the problem is, once they catch that heat and then the industry gets hold of them, then the whispers, and Carl Malcolm, you know about the whispers when people start telling you, just fix up that little bit or just drop out that part there.
Mm-hmm.
And just do, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Because make it more palatable. Oh, you could have reached this, you know, and they start water down your thing,
Mm-hmm.
and then your thing fizzle out because it doesn't have that fire,
No,
that power behind it. Again, talk
it's
to
not
us.
you, it's not you again. It's everybody's opinion.
Yeah?
Once you make the take your opinion and turn it into theirs, then it's not yours any longer.
It's not yours any longer.
No,
And then
original. No.
so talk to us about the way forward. You know, my sound is that business. We have to invest in the platforms, create our own platforms. I say the time has come for the lions to tell our own story. That means we need our own platforms, and that goes throughout our own publicists, our own networks, our own venues, our own tour support. You know, all of that. If we look at what Cali Reggae has done, and I know those brethren that do the Cali Roots Festival, I've had the opportunity to interact with them, and I big them up because of the business model that they put in place. But there should be a business model like that, owned and operated by Rastafari, because Rastafari music is always in demand globally, but we don't benefit. The community itself does not benefit from this global demand because that money is filtered out. Yes, the individual artists will benefit, but the Rastafari community has not benefited from the billions of dollars that has been made from Rastafari message. What do you think, Brother Carl, in terms of the way forward?
I think the way forward is from an organization of Rastafari, a group, I wouldn't say organization, but a group of Rastafari to come together as elders and project a business venture, get the right people in the right position, and move towards a certified gold. Because if, but it's a blind can't lead blind, you have to have something substantial for people to even see it's worth their while, because they're up against so much distractions that if they don't see you're going towards something that is really, really look good and look profitable, then they won't even follow you the first time to get the message. A lot of times, I talk to us about the same thing. Sometimes we as musicians, we can't get musicians to play because nobody's committed to a group. But the moment you have jobs and say, yo, I got jobs August 5, August 6, August 9, August 10, August 12. Then when somebody comes and say, no, man, me play Ras, you know, me play Ras Reggae, you know, because Ras Reggae have jobs. So we can talk, I don't want to talk if we don't have something to show them at the end of the tunnel that there's a light. they're not going to follow us. And so what's really keeping back in the reggae music, the reggae music between the reggae culture and the dancehall culture and the trap culture is because he's a dancehall guy come down with his mindset. Come down, pick up a guy who is looking for quick money, you know, what he wants to sing. If you tell him sing more Rastafari, he will sing Rastafari. He will go and research and knowledge of Rastafari and sing about it. But the producer comes and says, sing, and then he started to sing about, they have the biggest gun in Jamaica, and he say, and he promote that. Then the next man hears and say, you know, hear the man sing about 10 gun a while ago, and the man you go sing about 20 gun, and the man sing about 20 gun. Till now the guns, they start from 22 till they go to 32. Then you get that 32 more is 45, then you go for 45, you go to Big Mac 11, and Big Mac 10, Big Mac 12, and everybody else sing more and more and more and more and more till them start to have electric gun. So the whole era is about guns. Then you go to put on the section now, they start to talk about girls with battery rider. Then the next guy come and say, let's go further than that. Tear off the battery rider, let him go naked. You know what I'm saying? And it's a competition in the wrong direction.
Yes.
The same energy could be put in Rastafari production. If you have people decide, say, look, don't come to my door because there was a time you couldn't go to Jammy's door with certain songs. That Jammy said, no, I'm not doing them kind of song. No.
I'm glad you touched on that. Talk about the gatekeepers, the lack of gatekeepers. Yes.
They open the gate to culture.
We cuss the gatekeepers, but the gatekeepers also kept the quality of the music at a certain level.
He's the one who doing it. He's not the artist. Don't blame the artist. The artist going on, the singers going at something that they see is working. You know, they see popcorn come and make a blood amount. They see Vibes car come and take over the dance and nasty it up. Because that Vibes car, they nasty music, nasty it up bad, you know.
Yeah, man.
I know he is in music, he is in jail for murder. Whether he's guilty, yes or no. These are the people that people follow. People used to follow the Ranger and used to follow Billy the Kid. People follow badness, bad persona. They're not following the cultural people. Because the gatekeepers lock that to the gate and walk there again where people follow and say, what about this? There's some money around here. What about this? And you need preaching. Sometimes if you just preach in church, you don't get a congregation. But if you notice, they start to bring a little band in there and start to have a dance hall in the church. Yes. If the dance hall pack, church pack, and the same dance hall people in there dance, I am blessed, and I same dance hall people in there.
Under the blood, I may say, under the blood.
Under the blood. You know what I'm saying? And you just DJ them in the dance, in the church.
With African people, you have to have drum.
Yes.
Drum have to get it some kind of way for African people.
Yes. So they're getting message out because they have music. This is what we need, the music to push the Rastafari agenda, which is a cultural agenda, a spiritual agenda, and that's what we need. We need pioneers who push it. Some people get to own and decide, but I'm not going to forever and fight these young guys anymore. But we don't have no young blood who compass us. I think we got young blood who used to do it turn to quick money.
Yes.
We have a culture. We have a cultural, like when we used to have Sizzla and Capitan, and we used to have Buju, and we used to have Anthony B and a lot of these people, and Iwin. Iwin is a very good person, but what I'm saying about. Mm-hmm. Everything is about abortion and thing and blah blah blah. That's all.
Yeah, some love song, but Iwin I think needs a machine behind him. You know, he has good songs.
Yeah, but he need to project Rastafari in a different claimer image. I mean, it's not just that it comes to about. Now half the man sing about, but the man thing. That's all as you're sing about. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Iwin, I'm an artist still.
Iwin, I'm an artist. One of the things,
he's one of the few that message has not strayed. You know, what are you? Yeah, you know, in terms of the orthodoxy then of his lyrics has not has not been watered down. That's why I respect him. But I see what you say. But he has woman tune, him have girl tune, him have different songs, but you don't really hear them. And like I said, I think he needs a team behind him that can really help him
because
emotion.
Yeah, because okay, same thing now. If it comes to a place where that is being preached for the night, he'll go and preach it too. Him now preach his own personal agenda. See what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Bob used to go there and sing him song with them like yes or no. Him say, "This is my song. Me I sing my song." I'm just sing him song. Who want like it?
That fortitude until he packed stadiums.
Yeah.
With the same music.
Yeah. But a lot of these artists come on stage sometimes and grab the mic from the band and say, well, you any man this and that go come down, hey man, hold up your hand for this and hold up your hand for that and hold up your hand and then have a love like music no matter about anybody, any girl knows that she have her own door key, and any girl knows that she not sleep a man's house and she not sleep and she not wear barrow frock and she not wear this and she not wear that. What was that? You want him to say no, if me I go on dance and Ras have a shirt, me can't give my shirt for wear. That you tell me, Ras can't burn my shirt and wear it. And burn my shoes, fit him shoes are good. I say, Ras, your shoes are good for the occasion. Me have a bunch of shoes, go take one and wear it, man. That is bad thing.
Okay, yes, the brotherly love.
Yes, where is it?
Making it a bad thing because it's poor people. Sometimes you might have to share.
Yes.
You know, and these things are frowned upon in the dance hall.
Yeah. Look and say if you know you have your own the door key. So that means if you have your own room for living now, you can't stay with Ras or I can't come steal you and you put me upon them, I can't food. You look upon me like I'm a loser, you look upon me like I'm a disgrace because I want a place to stay. You don't know the circumstances. Your job is to help me to get my foot back on solid ground, not to put me down. And this is the dancer come to a man who say I'm not eat off a man food, I'm not eat off a man plate, I'm not this off another. Hey, if a man hungry, you're supposed to feed him Rasta. I say go.
It's a serious. We have to get forward to the fundamental because dreadful times are coming on earth right now too. I want to be very clear. I think the pandemic was just a beginning of things to come. And I agree with you, Elder, in terms of the message have to be there, the love. You know, we have to return to our first love. And the things that made Rastafari music great and global. That, you know, when during apartheid, you know, when they were fighting in the bush, they were smuggling in reggae albums.
Yep.
To you know, and playing the resistance movement. These are that was the fuel, the liberation of Zimbabwe.
Yes, Zimbabwe.
South Africa, Mozambique, you know, all of these liberation struggles. Reggae music, Rastafari was the soundtrack. And we have gotten away from that because the struggle is still there. Black people still, our liberation has not been attained fully yet. You know, the economic liberation, you know, or neo-colonialism, the battle against neo-colonialism still is waging. We have China on the continent now, big time. We have India. We have the Saudis, the Middle East, you know, all of these interests that are vying, you know, the scramble for Africa is in full swing. And I'm not hearing no repatriation song. I'm not hearing any resistance song. I'm not hearing any song about, and as an artist, I have to write them too. I have to put the blame on myself too. So I don't want people watching to feel like, you know, because it's also, I don't agree with just complaining about things. I'm an actionist.
Yeah, man.
So even as I'm talking, I'm hearing myself me say, you know what, King, you need to write some of them songs there. And
Mama Africa.
All right,
Mama Africa.
You see, Rasmus right when I read
east. All to the east.
I just want to gravitate to Fatibum Mumun and gravitate to that. Yes, sir. I read some songs and
it's true.
It's true. That lead the way. And have some songs that and they don't like that. They like Fatty Boom Boom.
They like Fatty Boom Boom.
Yes. Well, Fatty Boom Boom, let's be real. Every man cannot identify.
But I'm just saying that
It's
I don't
just
want to
how
see
you
your
put
song.
and I have to be clear because to I songs about making love and them thing there's not slackness to I.
That's
Slackness is when it become derogatory because we need love making to continue the human race. And the first commandment is be fruitful and multiply. So, there's a place in music for love songs and songs about, the male attraction to the female. Like you say, it don't have to be lewd or done in such a direct way. It can be done in innuendo and
the tricky way. I like the tricky way.
yeah, you know what I mean? So there's nothing wrong with those type of songs to
I love your
some people
daughter.
might disagree, some
No
Rastafari, but
gesturing.
I'm not, a
My,
super
my love songs are accepted like Live Sweet,
No
yeah.
gesturing.
Live Sweet and put song like Deepa Pocket, I Carry the Swing, and this one Konomono. These are songs that make people smile, and that's the type of song I want to sing. I don't want to sing too much serious songs,
Yes.
because somebody have to take care of it. Like I said, somebody take care of the love part of it. So I'm a lover man. When it comes to that, I'll go for the woman. You can't go wrong when you go for the woman.
My catalog is like that. I started writing a lot of love songs too because I said we cannot build the black nation unless we repair the relationship between the black man and the black woman.
Yeah.
Everything starts from the home, and the dysfunction, abuse, all of those things come from broken homes. So we have to really repair the gap. But even like I said, as I was talking, and I'm cussing the brethren for not having them song, I'm cussing myself at the same time because I'm an artist too, so I can't cuss man. But why you not write song about
if you're not doing that,
and I'm thinking in my catalog and I say, Ras, you need more of them song there, So we have to be fair, we have to be fair because we are one family, you know what I mean? So I want before we seal up here, I want the item to talk about Fatty Boom Boom. You brought up Fatty Boom Boom. How did that collaboration happen? You talked about that being a #1 song in Jamaica when it came out, the original. It's a classic in the history of reggae music. Why did you decide to bring it forward, and why did you look at this youth from the southeast region of DC who grew up on the banks of the Anacostia River? Why did you choose this brethren as a collaboration?
Well, it's like the music chose us, because the music itself look at two people who could make a difference. From on my side, I think that song sold millions of copies. I was on the chart in England and make a big name. And when I look into it, it started from in the park at the Trio Fest a year and a half ago. I was walking past the stage and hear Ras start to sing, "Hey, Fatty Boom Boom," like him teasing me, like teasing me at bandstand, and people gravitated to it. People liked it. And then after we said, "Ras, you to touch a song and people like it, And he said, "Yeah, it look like we could do something, And then both of us decided that, let's try it. And then it took about 6 months after, right? Ras, about 6 months after before we get it together, because it was done with music, live music. It was no computer thing. It put everybody together, bass, drums, guitars, and I helped to produce it and put my little 2 cents in production, I would say.
Yeah. Even on my verse, he made sure that I used the right word sound in my verse and never.
Because we had to trim it up.
I went to the studio. I was talking about I had some verse talk about on the front or something like. I say no. He seal it up. But really, for me with Fatty Boom Boom, as he said, when I listen to reggae music, I can always hear the pocket from go-go in it. I hear the congos and percussion. And I want people to know, although I'm credited with being the godfather of reggae music, I want to share this quick history with you. I'm credited with being the godfather and originator and creator of reggae music. But I can tell you, Carl Malcolm, long before I touched the stage in reggae, Carl Malcolm and his wife Anita Malcolm, who's an original drummer from go-go music. She's a heavy reggae drummer. Carl Malcolm tried to do go-go in them days back there, and the man they wasn't having it. So it was good to see, him mentor me, and this come back full circle again, where we get the opportunity to, to really approach it again from Fatty Boom Boom. And as he said, I went on stage and I always acknowledge ones and ones in the audience. And I said, I was acknowledging Carl at a show one day, and I said, I want to see, y'all think I don't know reggae music? I want to show you how much I know reggae. So I love to dip back in the roots. And I said this over the go-go beat. I just said, hey, Fatty Boom Boom. Hey, Fatty Boom Boom. Hey, Fatty Boom Boom. And like he said, it was like I was mocking him, but it worked. But I was trying to show people that I know original classic reggae music. So watch me. And then we went back, like you said, about 6 months later. I can remember I went to visit Carl at his house one night, and the conversation come up again. Anita jump up same time and run in the bedroom and say, let me try it. And she have her drum set set up in there. And I start singing it again, and she kicked the beat with the go-go beat. Hey, Fatty Boom Boom. We said, it work, It work, I said, all right, Carl.
Because what I said, like music said, draw us together, like music said, spoke to us and said, okay.
Yes, yes.
Together,
Have you all had a chance to perform it live?
No, not
together.
No. Did we try it one time? No.
No, we never get to try it live. I think we went through it in rehearsal, and it's really tough for me because Carl will be in rehearsal, but as you said, economically, business-wise, no. Because I do Fatty Boom Boom, and you book Ras Lidge on the show. Don't expect that Carl Malcolm is gonna come up on the Ras Lidge stage. Although he is, you can see here, he is McKee Bridget. If you want to book Carl Malcolm to come on stage with Ras Lidge, business a business. You have to book the artist.
Natural. Big Carl Malcolm, a big artist. You have to pay for that.
Yeah, you can't just slide him in with a black. You know what I mean?
It goes so. But in terms of the reception for that song, what has the reception been so far?
Well, Rossi has the connection. He put it on Disco Kid, and he knows about the latest happenings. But for me, it's been a good. I put it on my platform. It's been a good. I get a lot of, back feedback from it. People like it a whole lot, and we haven't got the chance to put it together and take it on the stage yet. But that's coming up shortly.
And as I said before, I just like the response when I first carried it down to Jamaica. And one of the greatest things that I like to do is when I'm playing music, I like to watch who responds to it. You know what I mean? And two things I can remember when I first went there, a bunch of mine, I was sitting under the tree with them and, buy a little drinks or something. The man said, yeah, me know a tune. Different rhythm, but me know the tune. I like the rhythm though, but me know the tune. And then when I was coming back through the airport, I have a little speaker. I hook up to my luggage, a little Bose Bluetooth speaker. Hook it to my luggage so people don't even know, because I have a luggage cover that looks like a speaker. It covers my luggage. So it looks like my luggage is playing, my carry-on is playing music. And I cut the tune on, man. I ain't see big people, elders. Them look around at me. And you see mommy in front, she just started whining to it. I said, I want another big man look around and they just smile, I said, okay. So that let me know right there. And I've always heard, I'm a lot younger. I heard and I knew of Fatty Boom Boom being a hit. But to go in Jamaica and see people respond to it, rap it like that, you did something with a hit. And it Carl had to calm me back down. He said, wait a minute, calm down when I got back home, because I was so excited. He said, now we got to rehearse and we really got to put together, because what if you get called for it? You're not ready yet. You have to make sure you're ready out there. You know what I mean? Because I was really excited. I saw how much that it is a hit and how much Fatty Boom Boom alone is a hit. So the remake with this Reggae beat is just Yeah.
It have a vibes. It definitely have a vibes. I want to see the item on a festival. So all of the promoters who are part of the Lion Pride, all of the promoters who watch the platform, we want to see Carl Malcolm and Raslich book on a festival so we can get that live,
Yes.
that content. And what's in the future for the Carl Malcolm? Are you still touring? Are you still performing? I know you do production. What kind of things are you doing now currently in the music?
Yes, I play out. I still tour. My next show in the local area coming up is on the Carnival in Baltimore, July 9th. Here,
Okay.
the one love called one DC Carnival. That's the closest thing I have in DC. That's people can come to. I have other private things to one side. I won't mention those. But I just do Carl Malcolm shows. I don't do positive vibration shows.
Okay. Have you been to the UK anytime recently?
Not recent. I was touring UK before the pandemic.
Because I know that's a big market for you.
Yes, yes.
So so I know that they would be excited to get you in the UK. What's your favorite country in terms of music, or what country do you think in terms of reception that you've loved or been surprised by um, as you tour?
England. England definitely is a place where they give me a lot of support. I've been to many places other than America and Canada and Caribbean, but when I go to England, it's really a big market only for me.
Okay, beautiful, beautiful. Um, and I asked the same question, Rosledge. Where's Reggae have the biggest reception?
Rego has the biggest reception on the East Coast because of the go-go beat. The biggest reception is definitely, and I would even say stretching regions outside of DC because in DC we saturated with go-go. We know go-go.
Mm-hmm.
And one of the things I love about it is when we find our core audience, those real reggae lovers, and you have real reggae lovers who are American born and those who grew up around the DC DMV region who know and familiar with go-go. It just resonate with them so much. And I got all kind of marketing schemes. One of the things I do, I go out, shout out to my company, Raymia King Designs. We go out merchandising and vending in a lot of festivals, even when we're not booked to perform. So as we go out and vend, I've ordered hundreds of CDs and flash drives as well. You know what I mean? I have flash drives that look like cassette tapes. But what happened is when people come to my stall and they buy anything, one of the cups, tumblers from us, anything they buy, if they spend us, if you spend under this amount of money, I give you a CD that you walk away with. If you spend this amount of money, I give you a flash drive. The flash drive has on it the videos of All to the East from Africa, interviews that we've done in Africa. I give out the music as I'm selling underneath the store. So I'm always pushing my music like that. And we getting the gigs, a few things that we have coming up August 5th here in Maryland region, Poolsville. We have what's being called the Trinity Festival coming up August 5th. I'm really looking forward September 9th. We're down at Lake Ann and what do you call that? It's in Reston, Virginia. Lake Ann. They have a Lake Ann reggae festival down there. And the big one for me, September 23rd. A lot of people don't know this, but this is where it's going to come full circle with me from my trip from Ghana, coming back on stage with me. Annapolis does what's called a Kuta Kente festival because when Kuta Kente came here, that's the actual slave port that he came to was Annapolis and was sold on the slave block there. So Annapolis does the Kuta Kente festival, and we are set to perform at the Kuta Kente festival in Annapolis this year. So yeah.
Give thanks, give thanks. You touched on Ghana. What was it like performing go-go in Ghana, and what was the reception like? All to the East, I think, is a hit song.
Yeah.
I keep on telling you that, and even 3 years from now, until that song hit, I would not stop pushing that song, because that song have a time where it going to hit.
That sounds a great song.
Yeah, man, we know that song there's a hit song.
Mm.
It's catchy, simple, and it have a vibes, you know. How was the reception? Obviously, Black Santino love it. Big up Black Santino
You got Black Santino.
and all of the Ghana family. But how was the reception when you perform it live on the motherland?
It resonated, and they could relate because I introduced them and I told them, I said, we're me coming from the Western Hemisphere, happy to be in his home for me to be here, and all of us. This is a message to everyone in the West coming back home for repatriation, which Black Santino and the Rastafari Council of Ghana had already sealed that All to the East would be the official theme song for repatriation. When Black Santino heard that, he sealed that, you know, um, for as coming from the Rastafari Council of Ghana. And
Nice.
so that was a blowaway excitement for me. But to perform it there, the people just the hook all to the east, Mama Africa, she calling you, Mama Africa. That's it just and then to hear each country in Africa, like we do the roll call here in Go-Go where we put on neighborhoods,
Yeah.
you know, uptown, southeast, southwest. We call every street. So that was my same thing coming from Go-Go doing the roll call. But instead of calling streets, I just called every country in Africa that I could think of on the record. And yeah, every country is glad to hear their name called, their country called, to know. And more so I'm saying in that song, the unification. I'm sending a lot of messages in that song, unification, one Africa, when I get in the East, I want to see Egypt, Tanzania, go sit down, let's have a feast all to the East. I'm calling for unifications, it, it, it was, man, performing a song. I don't know if you ever heard anybody say a vibration go through you, because in Ghana and learning what Kwame Nkrumah went through with Pan-Africanism and in the building of the Pan-African blocks, Patrice Lumumba, and just learning that story again and hearing about it while I was there, that it couldn't have been a better timing for that song to complete those stories and those messages. And it resonated real hard. It resonated real hard. So performing in Ghana, it was well received. And even, to the great Bob Marley, understand this, please. I got to learn as Bob left Jamaica, Bob Busway big in England and Europe first.
Yeah.
It wasn't until his later days where he said, I have to touch America because those are my people, and I need them people to understand the message of what I'm saying and what I'm doing. And we here in America, we was in the funk phase, Sly Stone, Funkadelic, you know what I mean? We was very much in the funk phase. And so Bob came in with that message to his Sly and them told him, say, nah, man, you need your own tour. You know what I'm saying? That's how they responded to Bob when Bob came on the show, and Bob came in opening up for them. So that's the challenge for me as a American born, is to uplift, awaken, shaken, and quake, the consciousness of my own people here in
Yes.
America with
And
a
I
novel.
always tell you that DI, in terms of the violence in Southeast, DI, and I always bring up Ras D, are
Big up Ras
uniquely
D.
positioned as Rastafari. The item are basically coming into your eldership now.
Yes,
And
I.
but the item have the authentic Rastafari trod in that, you trod with the elders. The item have been, outside of America, trod Rastafari outside of America, but you're from the communities where the violence is coming from. I want to big up Mix and Pure. He said that you should do a roll call with the rivers of Mama Africa and a roll call with the tribes too.
Yes, big up. What's the man name? We have a big him up. Give him a shout out again.
Mixed and pure and plural. Big up
Mix and
yourself
pure and plural.
for the comments, and staying the chosen few, the faithful few who are watching this live. Many more will watch it on the replay. But big up everyone who is here with us live. Remember, subscribe. He said, "Yes, Peter." Bless up, Peter.
Yeah, bless you, Peter. Well received.
Where did I tuning in from? Where did I tuning in from? Mix and plural. Let me see. Come in know Holy Pa Peter. Me know at least 3 or 4 Peter. So Ohio. Okay, big up yourself. Big up
Ohio.
yourself.
Big up Ohio.
Yeah, man, big up Ohio. But no, I think it's crucial for us to have these dialogues. We're gonna have more of these panels and round tables on this platform. This was I talked to these brethren today and they rose to the occasion. So like I say, my superpower is my network. Raslige is part of that network. And just because I may not be close with Brother Carl Malcolm, Raslige is close with Brother Carl Malcolm. And so the network extend, that's how it works.
Well, we are one.
It's a oneness. So I want to just thank the IDEM for coming on the platform, sharing. I want to also just big up Duane Stephenson. We were texting here. We were frantically. My queen was here trying to sort out him coming on in, but the technical difficulties didn't work. So I probably gonna have to do a pre-recorded interview with him and then just put it up on the channel. So stay tuned for that. We'll work it out so we can get his sound. But he was here and available and ready. So I just want to big him up. If you see Lion Voice advertised, we don't give false advertisement. So I just want the people to know if you're new to the channel, because we have a lot of new subscribers from the interview that we did on I Never Knew TV. If this is your first time, big up yourself. Again, subscribe, like, share. This is just the beginning of where we're going with this platform. Rastafari own platform. We have over 1,000 subscribers now. Now we're on the road to 10,000 subscribers. We want to do 10,000 subscribers prayerfully by the end of this year. So there's no ease up in our thing. That being said, I want to just get some final sounds from both of my guests. This was a great honor. I'm going to sit down with Brother Carl Malcolm. We're going to do a lion talk where we get the full story, where we can show, you know how we do it here, so we can get the full lion story. So this was just a sneak peek. I'm going to go and sit down with the brethren over this summer, and we'll bring that to the item so you can get that full history about Coxon and all of these names him just drop casually upon me. These legendary names that, he was there at the founding, Ska, Mento, Rocksteady, to reggae, all of these things. We're going to go through it with him. But again, just give us some final sound. Raslige first, and then we'll let our elder give us the final sealing up sounds. Raslige, give them your social media, where they can find you, what they need to support, how they can support Ramia King Design. I have my tumbler here, came with a straw, hot, cold, liquid, top of the line, Lion Voice. Support Black-owned business. If you want to support the channel, support our sponsors so that our sponsors feel good supporting us. So go ahead and buy something. They have other products as well. Check out their Facebook page as well. But Raslige, just give all of your plugs, and then any final sounds you have in terms of Rastafari reggae and the way forward.
I want to start with Rastafari reggae and the way forward. People, I just want you to understand, please. sometimes we as a people are healing from a lot of things, and we've been through a lot of hurt, and it takes time to trust. So I just want to ask you, if even if the word love is hard for you, I just want all of you to please try to care some more. Just try to care a little more. Start building. As you see with the lion's voice, ones and ones in the right time, keep moving in on your lane, staying in your direction, moving in the positive, and when the time is right for whatever it is that you're doing and involved in, and you're working positive, things will line up for it to grow greater as you see the unification between I, self, Ras Lidge, Carl Malcolm, and Brother the Judge Mach Kwasi here on the Lion's Voice. It takes time to trust so you can build some care and you can build some love with each one's. And then that's and especially when we're involved in economics, it takes time to trust your brethren or your community with your money or with whatever you're given to offer. But believe in it. It does work and it does exist. Thank you again, the Judge Mach Kwasi, for this opportunity. My name is Ras Lidge. I represent Reggae Music. As you can see, it's 3 G's, REGGGO. You can see it on the bottom there. At Reggae Music on Instagram. At Reggae Music on Twitter. Reggae Music DC at Gmail. If you need to get in contact with me for bookings, it's REGGGO Music, Reggae Music DC at Gmail. And our website is rego.com. And also on Facebook, you can find Ras Lidge Rego. Thank you so much. Love you. God bless one and all.
Give thanks, my brother. And again, I just want to thank you. Faith, just reaching out to the eye to come in and fill in when I realized that I wasn't able to connect with Duane Stephenson. And I came through in a major way. So I just, in the public, want to just give the idea flowers for making this happen. Real brethren come through in the clutch. Now, legendary Carl Malcolm, this is the first time you are here on the Lion Voice Network. We are honored by the eye presence. We are honored by the eye presence. No ears. He didn't send me a bill for $1 million for this type of quick appearance. So me really have to just tip my hat the time to my elder, and I feel like I went through a history lesson today. Although you casually throw out these massive names, and there is also a massive name because myself or Ras Lidge have not sold millions of records. We can't know how I feel right now. We just have to,
we're hoping.
We're hoping to be where the eye has trod. So any final sounds, Rastafari, reggae the way forward, and then let the people know how they can link the eye and tap in with the eye movement.
Well, you can find me Carl Malcolm Music, and most of the platform from Carl Malcolm Music. I just keep it as very simple. You want to go Facebook, I want to go Spotify. What else one name? What
Instagram.
No, the gram thing there.
Instagram, SoundCloud.
I don't think they find Carl Malcolm Music. I just keep it on Spotify. Yeah. But I got quite a few music out recently. You might hear about a Deeper Pocket of Cardi Swing. You see my t-shirt there, man. Ras Lidge make them t-shirt for me, sir.
Okay, Deeper Pocket Cardi.
Ras Lidge make it, see? Deeper Pocket
of Cardi. I have to read with you about some t-shirt, Ras Lidge. Come and need some.
Yeah, man, Ras Lidge, brilliant thing there.
You see the machine back there? You see the machine? We have it all.
Yes.
T-shirts and stuff. Because I'm going to Atlanta this weekend, but when I forward, I'm going to reason with there because I need some reading, Ras. I want to support, spend some money with the eye.
What do people listen to the latest tune on the one called Kuna Mono, right? Latest one that, and then you have me and Ras Lidge again with for the Boom Boom. So I'm pretty busy doing things here and there. I'm working on some new stuff right now. I'm just watching the market to see what's up between now and the end of the year. I might not put everything between now and the end of the year, but it depends on what Willie Linder is my producer, and he has my products. I don't know what. Whenever he see fit to put out something, then I just go along with it. Other than that, you can get in touch with me too if you want a sound system, because we have a sound system that do a lot of festivals, and I'm not just like singer and promoter. I think I produce. We produce shows too.
Okay. What's the name of the company that does the show production?
Well, it's call Malcolm for sound, and I'll get the sound. What it depends on how big a venue is or whatever it is. I work with my son. My son is Star Room, what a bigger engineer about the place, and I run things. So I get things and give it to him, and he just can't do it. If you want sound or stage or lights or whatever, we have all the connections we can get.
Okay, beautiful.
Yeah.
And in terms of Rastafari and the way forward, give us a sealing wisdom as an elder in the business.
In terms of Rastafari, make a light be shine among men, because if a man don't see where your light is an example, a man not going to follow you. You clean up your house for invite people. That's it. Make sure your house clean. A man can look and say, yes, that house clean. I want to follow that house. Because you can't talk as much as you talk. A man come to you and tell you how much progress he's making in life. The first thing they look at him shoes. You look at him foot. I say, you are going to tell him about progress, look at your shoes, a big bread. You know what I'm saying? You're not grace clean. You can't represent your brand.
Yes.
If you go and represent Rastafari, make your life be clean, man. Make a man look at you and say, Rastafari means something. And then a man will look and try to follow you. So that's the biggest thing I can say. If you want to lead some people, make yourself an example.
Leadership.
Give
thanks. I'm doing a series on leadership. If you look at my content, we start something called the Rastafari Man Standard.
Yes.
Where we use His Majesty as that example, and how we can apply it as men, husbands, if you really stand up, because I'm saying that the man them have to stand up and hold this thing together right now. We can't look at the sister in them and say the sister in them to come and save Rastafari liberty. We have to make a stand, those of us who say Rastafari. So I'm glad to hear that confirmed from the elder. I did not know what the elder was going to say. So, and you hear the elder was a star before I born. So there's no way I influence the elder speech just now. I just met the item know it's one. I see it.
Yes.
If I talk about big hitting at 74, I never born them time there. You understand? So just to show you the levels where we going with this thing. It's unchangeable from that time to this time, henceforth, even forever and ever. And I just want to say again, thank you everyone. Like, share, subscribe. This is Lion Talk Live. This is our live series. It will be available on the channel to watch, and we know that we'll get the views from all over the world. I want you to put in the comments, do you believe that reggae music is watered down right now? The current reggae music, is it watered down? Put it in the comments. Let us continue the discussion. I want to hear your opinions on the state of the music. Do we need more militant and upright Rastafari songs in the culture right now? Or are things right? If we're wrong, let us know in the comments. Why? Because the time has come for the Lions to tell our own story. And this is the Lion Voice.
Peace out.
Well, Lion Voice, tell them that's the people first choice. Lion Voice, make the lioness them feel nice. Lion Voice, with the lion cubs we sacrifice. Lion Voice, got to show them in the light. Lion Voice. Yeah. Well, don't be afraid, for I am with the eye. I will bring thy children from the east and gather thee from the west. I shall say to the north, give up, and to the south, keep not back. Bring my sons from afar, my sons and daughters, while you waiting. Down in the west it seems your life frustrating. Down in the west it seems the haters keep hating. Africa awake, creators start creating. Then will be party waiting. Me and me woman love making. Leave Babylon and them hating. One love Africa and Jamaican. Then will be party waiting. Whole family them celebrating. Leave Babylon and them hating. One love Africa and the Haitian. The story written in my DNA. Them up my four parents never get no pay. But down in them system.